I'm going to show you how to write the equation of a circle given different circumstances, including completing the square. So let's start off with question A. So as you can see here, this is my circle, my radius is r, but the center of the circle is a point h, which is your x value, k, which is your y value. And if you know this equation, this standard equation of a circle, I hope it's called standard, this is what we want to use. H and K represents the center, R represents radius. We just take those numbers and we plop it in right there. However, take note of the minus signs in front of the H and K, right? That's part of the equation and that has to be there. So let's see what I mean by that. So write the standard form of equation of the circle with radius r equal 3. So that means instead of putting that r there, we're going to have a 3. So that's 3 square. And center 1, negative 1. Now this is my h, and this is going to be my k. So let's just plop it in. So x, that minus must stay there, 1 square plus y minus, now my k is a negative 1, so I'll have a minus a negative 1 square. Now the shortcut is to think of a minus of a minusing a negative is the same thing like just adding, right? So we could convert that to a plus. And well, that's the equation of my circle. And if I want, I could convert this to the number 9, but that's not necessary. Okay, so let's see. Find the center and radius of the circle to blah, 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 equal 8. Okay, so we want to take this and get it in this form, right? So I want to see my h, I want to see my k, and see the radius very clearly. Now it's almost in that form, but not quite, not quite. So let's actually write that and put it in that form. Square plus 2y square equals 8. All right. So first thing I see, there's a 2 here, there's a 2 here, and this number is divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. All right, all you want to do is a little bit of algebra. Now, if you need help with algebra, now that's a different story, but we want to do a little bit of algebra to just get it looking like that form. So this is x minus 3 square, because these 2's, they divide out into 1. Don't forget the parentheses, those are important. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it's just y squared, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now, this is what I want. Now, there's no number that goes with the y, but in reality there is, because we could think about it's like x minus 3 square plus y, either plus or minus 0 square. And since I'm doing this, I'm just going to rewrite this 4 as an r square. So what number square would give us 4? Well, 2 square, right? And if it's not a nice number, let's say that number was, I don't know, 5, right? What number would go here? Well, it'll be the square root of 5 square, because that's how you'll get 5. So what's the center and what's the radius? Well, the center is the point 3, right? Because remember, you need that minus sign there, comma 0. And the radius is 2. Right? Just keep in mind, it's the radius square. So the radius is just 2. Or in other words, the square root of 4. All right, now let's do C. C is a little bit more involved. And I'm not going to show you the explanation, the full explanation of it, but I'm going to show you how to do it in such a way that if you just need to get it done, you could get it done. Now, we have this whole big thing written here, right? It's nowhere close to looking like this. And our goal is to get it to look like that. And the first step is to take any constants you have. Sometimes you don't have one here, but any constant, a constant is just a number by itself. Take that number and do some algebra to get it on the other side. So in this case, I'm going to minus 9 on both sides. All right, so minus 9 there, minus 9 here, Those cancel. And the second step is we want to group these in such a way that we have all the x's together and all the y's together. So, and we want to write it in order. So like the x squared first, then the minus 6x, and leave a little room here for a number, right? Because we're going to complete the square and put it in there. Let's group the y's plus y squared minus 6x. Leave a little room here again is equal to -9 because we minus 9 on both sides. Now, how do we get a number that goes in there? Well, you do b over 2 square. This is what we call completing the square. I'm going to do it once for the x's, but I need to do it again for the y's. Oops, I shouldn't be putting that there. That's not necessary because this is not part of the equation. This is just me doing some work, and then we're going to get the number. So b is just this number in front of the x, which is -6 divided by 2. Now, don't skip any steps here because every number here is important, and you'll see why in a second. So that's -3 squared, which is +9. Now, you may be inclined to just go from here to here, but this number right here is super important. So let's do it over here. Well, it's the same thing, right? We're going to have -6 over 2 square. This will be -3 square and then 9. Now, this number needs to get added to both sides. This will always be a positive number, by the way. Right? But if you're adding 9 there, we have to add 9 on that side. So this 9 goes right here. And it goes over there as well. If we add, to make it equal, we have to add on both sides. If you get a negative number, you're doing something wrong. Most likely not putting parentheses in front of your number when you're putting it into a calculator. Okay, so now we're ready for this final answer. And I'm really skipping some steps here. So let's see. It will be x. And you see this number that I said was important? Just put it right there. Don't switch the signs. Don't do anything like that. You just put it right there. So same thing over here. This will be y plus y minus 3 square is equal to, well, -9 plus 9. That zeroes out. So we end up with just 9. And now you could tell what the radius and the center is. So the center is the point 3, because remember we need those negatives. And the radius is just the square root of 9, which is 3.